Hey people, this is my weekly rundown of things in entertainment news interest me, and I'm going to try to keep things moving because I've got quite a few stories to share with you in this video, starting with Pokemon. Nintendo has unveiled their new entries into the Pokemon series for the 3DS, Pokemon X and Y, and as you can see from this screenshot here, the series has finally made the jump to 3D, and I believe this is a first. Like, Pokemon Coliseum on the GameCube sort of did it, but this is definitely the first 3D Pokemon handheld game, first 3D adventure. So that's pretty exciting. I haven't bought a Pokemon game in almost 10 years since Pokemon Sapphire, so I might actually buy this one. I mean, I've considered buying a few in the past, but this is the first major jump to me, so I think this might be a worthwhile purchase. And the thing that it really gets me excited about is the possibility that Nintendo could build from this and finally deliver a fully realized 3D console Pokemon adventure, and that is very appealing to me. That would be a definite buy. Disney has hired Jeff Nathanson, the writer of Catch Me If You Can, to write a script for Pirates of the Caribbean 5. Johnny Depp is expected to return, producer Jerry Bruckheimer is expected to return, but honestly I think this is a bad idea. The fourth one was pretty mediocre. It made a lot of money, but it just wasn't that great. And to be honest, I didn't think the second or third movies were that great either. I liked the first one a lot. I thought that the tone of it was great. I thought it was a very fun movie. But since then, they just haven't managed to capture that again. And just having another mediocre sequel, I think, will just tarnish this franchise even more and make people forget how good it started out. Joseph Gordon-Levitt has joined the cast as Sense82 as a character named Johnny, who is a cocky gambler who disguises a darker mission to destroy his most foul enemy at his best game. This, however, means that he will not be taking the lead role in Guardians of the Galaxy, so Marvel is still looking at their other candidates for that, and that movie is supposed to be shooting this summer. Christopher Nolan's next project will be a sci-fi movie called Interstellar. The story apparently follows a heroic interstellar voyage to the furthest borders of our scientific understanding, and I've heard that it features time travel and alternate dimensions, so the subject matter is definitely stuff that I'm pretty interested in. I mean, Back to the Future is one of my favorite movie franchises, so is Terminator, so time travel I'm very excited about for this movie, and Christopher Nolan, I think, is obviously very intelligent, very good at what he does, so he'll probably bring some depth and sophistication to this project, so I think it's something to keep an eye on and look forward to. Director James Mangold spoke recently to Entertainment Weekly about his upcoming movie, The Wolverine, and he confirmed that it is set after X-Men 3, which is interesting to me because I think a lot of us initially assumed that it was going to be kind of a direct follow-up to X-Men Origins Wolverine. They confirmed that it was kind of supposed to be its own thing and not really that closely tied to everything else, but in terms of the timeline, I always did assume that it was going to continue the story to show how Wolverine got to where he was at the beginning of the first X-Men movie. But this is kind of an interesting take to see where he goes after that, after everything that's happened with Jean and Professor Xavier, and he's left the team. So he's got all this baggage, and he's matured over the course of the trilogy, so hopefully they take the character to an interesting place in this movie. Jennifer Lawrence spoke to MTV News recently and confirmed that The Hunger Games: Catching Fire has wrapped filming, which hopefully means that there is no conflict with X-Men Days of Future Past, and we will be able to see her reprise her role as Mystique. Anthony Mackie has spoken recently about his role as the Falcon in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and he confirmed that he's read the script and he has seen the costume design for the character, and he seems pretty excited about the project, so hopefully that's a good sign. I'm very curious to see where they go with the Falcon, how big his role is, how they depict the character in terms of the flight. Is he going to actually be flying around? Is he going to have like physical wings? Is he going to have like the light wings that he has more recently? So very curious about that, but I'm really looking forward to this sequel. Hopefully they do it well. Ron Perlman will be voicing Sinestro on Green Lantern, the animated series, which is pretty cool because Ron Perlman is such a major actor. But I do question the casting choice a little bit because Ron Perlman's voice is a little bit gruff and raspy, and Sinestro is this very snide, arrogant, refined character. So I'm not sure that it really matches up that well. But I mean, I am confident in his acting ability, and we'll see how it turns out. I think that overall, though, it is cool to see somebody of that caliber coming to a project like this. Joss Whedon spoke recently about the Avengers 2 and about the upcoming S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series. He said that he's in the middle of writing the Avengers 2, and he thinks that instead of going bigger with it, you have to go deeper into the characters. And as for S.H.I.E.L.D., he says that that series will shoot pretty soon, and that there will be some people with powers on the show, there will be effects, and there will be the spectacle of science fiction storytelling, but all played on a very human, small level. And he says that that is the appeal of it, kind of telling the story of the people on the outskirts of the adventures rather than the superheroes that are the center of the story. It has been confirmed that the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series takes place after the Avengers, so you've got the world pretty much exposed to a lot of extraordinary stuff that has happened, and that does call into question what Agent Coulson is doing in this series, because it has been confirmed that Coulson plays some role in it, and if you've seen the Avengers, you're probably wondering how that's going to work out, and I'm pretty curious as well. Apparently Marvel is still very interested in doing a Jessica Jones TV series, and it seems like it's all very much up in the air right now, and they're still looking at networks that would possibly be interested in this show. But it does seem like the character is a high priority to them. So I've seen a lot of people suggest that maybe you put the character in the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series as a supporting character in that, and as long as they were able to fit her in well, then I think I'd be in favor of that. And maybe if you were able to introduce her to that audience and gather interest, you could possibly spin off into a Jessica Jones TV series after that. Finally, my last story this week, there is some new information about the pilot that CBS has for Beverly Hills Cop coming for next season. And apparently Eddie Murphy is an executive producer on the show, and he will be making occasional guest appearances as his character Axel Foley, who is now a chief of police in Detroit. The series is centered on his son, Aaron Foley, who is played by Brandon T. Jackson. So I like the original movie a lot. I saw it pretty recently for the first time. I haven't seen either Beverly Hills Cop 2 or 3, but I think the first one is pretty solid. So if they can bring that kind of humor to a series, hopefully it'll be pretty good. But that's really all I've got for this week. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, and tune in next time.